I rise today in anticipation of the Supreme Court's decision likely coming down today or tomorrow, which will decide the future of Roe versus Wade. The Supreme Court decision may punt Michigan backwards to 1931 and our long dormant law which makes providing an abortion a felony that will send doctors, women, and girls to jail for 4 years, with no exception for age, rape, or incest. And while a Michigan Court of Claims judge recently ruled to bar the enforcement of the 1931 law should Roe be overturned, rightly citing the, quote, serious danger of irreparable harm if prevented from accessing abortion services, the Republican majority in this Senate, Mr. President, has filed a motion to intervene in this suit to force the 1931 law and its enforcement to go back into effect. And they are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer funds to force a law to take effect that will return Michigan to an archaic time when the lives of women and girls did not matter. They're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer funds to, in effect, force doctors and medical providers out of the state, sentencing them to jail, and to sentence women, girls, families, and anyone needing to access this medical care to death. The argument that what's written in statute should be for the legislature to decide, that any changes in statute should be done here. One of our Republican counterparts in the House told Politico, quote, none of us are thinking that we're going to let this 1931 law go back into effect and that people are going to start getting arrested. Instead, we are fully prepared to have those difficult conversations with our colleagues, end quote. And yet, this Senate has for years refused to take up Senator Geis's bill to repeal this horrific 1931 law and refused to take up our bills to pass the Reproductive Health Act into law. Not even a debate. There are no conversations. There have never been. And here we are with the 1931 law, all we will have left if and when Roe falls. In fact, just yesterday, another Republican House colleague introduced a new bill that would go even further and sentence medical providers to 10 years in prison instead of 4. The message pending from the U.S. Supreme Court, should it fall, and our Republican majority colleagues couldn't be clearer. If your birth control fails, you don't matter. If you're raped and get pregnant, your hopes, dreams, and aspirations do not matter. You don't matter. If your family already has kids and you've decided that you can't have any more, you don't matter. If you're a married couple who tries to get pregnant and finally does, and you have a healthy pregnancy until a horrific fetal diagnosis threatens that pregnancy, threatens the chance that you may ever be able to conceive again without access to an abortion, you don't matter. To our colleague from the 12th District who would not even be here today without access to an abortion that saved her life, you don't matter. You all know that I gave birth to my daughter last year. What many of you don't know is that shortly after giving birth, I had an IUD placed, and that IUD later punctured through my uterus, a rare occurrence that can be fatal. I had to have it surgically removed and was scheduled for a laparoscopy and a D&C to have it removed. That's right, a D&C, an abortive procedure. One that if our medical schools no longer teach because they are not allowed to, because they will lose funding, because their graduates will be jailed if they dare to provide medical care. One that means I might not even be here right now because a doctor wouldn't know how to treat me. I wouldn't matter. That's already 2 of your colleagues who wouldn't be here right now. You argue that these debates must happen in the legislature. Well, then let's have them. Take up Senator Geis's bill to repeal the 1931 law now. Take up our bills to pass the Reproductive Act now. We are running out of time. Do not sentence doctors and medical providers to jail. Do not force qualified professionals to leave the state. Do not sentence your own residents to die. Take action now.